Thank you so much, sir, for your time on this beautiful, amazing Saturday morning, because I recall having sent messages to quite a few people, but I think nobody says no to come for this conversation, but people say yes, and some people take longer time. And you are one of those people who just said yes. Why don't we go for this? So thank you so much, sir. I recall, sir, it was before 2010, if I am correct, before 2010. And I had the privilege of working with you, sir, for some time. That was, I think, for a few years. And you had recently become the Vice President of Building Products Division, the same division which has been doing pretty well and minting money. I think you had set the foundations in the right place. And I'm going to share with you one very interesting anecdote from my memory. And that was, I think, before 2010, 2009 or so. And you had become vice president just a couple of days before. And I recall you having left your cabin, you go to a person who was head of a function, and then you discuss with him, and then I'm watching from a distance. So this is for the first time that I'm going to share with you. You talk to the person, and then the person takes his laptop like this, and then he goes to a corner meeting room, because we had open office in that organization, a reputed data organization. And then the person takes his laptop, he follows you, and then you go to the second functional head. You have some conversation with the person, and then he also takes his laptop, and then he also goes along with you, and all three of you go inside the conference room, and then it takes around 2 to 3 hours. And I was doing some work. I was just watching because I could see the conference room from the place that I was sitting. Then I called the head of HR, who was the then head of HR. I called him, and then I asked him one thing, smilingly, that, do you know what leadership is? He said, why are you all of a sudden talking about leadership? Why don't you go and have a cup of coffee or tea? I said, I just wanted to have a look at something. Leadership is not something which you read about in books. It's not something which you see in some of the movies, some of the inspirational, motivational movies. It's something which I can see right now happening in front of me. A leader who is bringing two functional heads, because I knew that both these functional heads were not seeing eye to that extent. A leader is somebody who is bringing the team together. He's somebody who knows the individual talents of people, each of the team members. And he is the person who brings the team together, make them work for the greater benefit of the organization. And he is the one who is there to communicate with the team so that he can share his vision and cascade it down to people. And then it becomes so solid. So no surprises at all that Building Products Division is one of the best, I think, known divisions in that organization. It's a pleasure for me to be talking to you, sir. I'm talking about something before 2010. Now I think it's almost 13 to 14 years. And then, sir, I think briefly we interacted through virtual media. Yeah. I had this book, which I think the audience can see in the background, The Strawberry Farm. And the publisher said that, here, why don't you get some comments from some people? And then I asked him what exactly this comment is going to be under. He said it's something called advanced praise. I said, for a person who is going to write the second book, you're talking about advanced praise. Is it not like a bragging? He said, no, this is the way it is known. So I wrote to some people advanced praise. Again, thank you so much, sir. You were one of the first people to have sent a very nice advanced praise, which is there here on the first page of this book. Thank you so much, sir. It's such a pleasure for me to be connecting with you. Probably this is something which is going to be very inspiring and very, very, I think, thought-provoking for people. Once again, a very, very hearty welcome to you, sir, and thanks for your time, sir, on this Saturday.
Thank you very much, Arun, and thanks for this small intro. Actually, I'm really happy that you remember some of the nitty-gritties there. And first of all, my congratulations to you for having done this work, having chosen a path of your liking, which is this leadership, mentoring, coaching, motivational speaker. This is something not so easy, it's very tough, and it can only happen with a lot of passion. So my heartiest best wishes to you on this track that you have chosen for yourself. And that's the reason why I always come forward to, sharing, because I have learned from sharing of so many good leaders that we have come across in Tata Steel, in my journey with this French principal Simiris, in Dalmia, wherever I have gone. So it will be injustice for me if I am not able to share what I have learned from them and pass it on. So that way, I'm always open to opening up myself.
Most importantly, actually, this is something which I wanted to share with my audience, that whoever has chosen to be in this conversation, which normally happens over Saturday or Sunday, has got one thing in common. I've seen this one pattern which is common among all the very senior people. And that pattern is that they want to do something for the society. They want to do something for the world around them. Because, sir, I think this is a world where most of the people choose to be different. And that again makes me so happy to have you in this heart-to-heart conversation. I'm pretty sure people are going to get lots and lots of inspiring lessons. So we are talking to the Executive Director of Dalmia Cement. And Mr. Hakimuddin Ali has been in the board of Emirates Group. And I recall when he left Tata Blue Steel, where he was working as the vice president, he actually became the joint managing director of Ace Galleries. Then, sir, you became the managing director of Ace Galleries, and then you become the chairperson of Emirates Group, which has got Ace Galleries and some other companies. So, hearty welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm pretty sure, sir, I keep on meeting many people who talk about career growth, and they keep on having a lot of questions as Arun, how to see that my career keeps on growing. I said, no, I'm going to invite somebody like Ali sir, who actually is the right mentor, when it comes to guiding people as how to see the career growing and how to see that you add more and more value to the organization. So without saying much, I would like you to share something about your journey thus far, and something which you would like to share with the audience to take off, and then we can pick up from there.
Okay. So I always look at my career so far in 4 or 5 pockets, and basically one pocket was the first one where I started my career, my learning pocket, which was in Tata Steel Cement division, right. 5 to 7 years. The second pocket was a very healthy, very learning experiences with McKinsey, with iShare, with in operations, in HR, in Tata Steel's steel division, where we actually spent about 9-10 years going deep into some major operational and HR transformation work. Right. Sir. The third pocket is about bringing these learnings to action, and that was in Tata Blue Steel. I got an opportunity where we worked together also, Arun. And those 5 to 6 years were, I would say, very formative one for me in the leadership role, where right, I could demonstrate some of the things that I learned into really action. So creation of brands and creation of new business and journey together. My Emirates days as managing director and then chairperson of Emirates in India, those 10 years, I would that was like culmination of everything together. Right, sir. But most importantly, the major learnings have been in transformation of operations. There were a lot of old and virtually decaying operational entities which I had to transform. There was a brand which was a legacy which we had to transform, and that's how I could put things in practice and putting together growth in Emirates. Right. And my current role in Dalmia Cement has been an extremely challenging one, especially because this was a sick unit which has been taken over under NCLT, and there was a plant which was dead since last 8 years. The task was to revive it, to bring it to life, and set up the entire marketing, sales, and the brand and the network in this part of the world, Western region. Because Dalmia Cement is India's 4th largest cement company, but in this part of the region, we were not known. Right, sir. So it has been a wonderful journey so far, Arun. I think, and we can always go deep into one of these experiences if you want me to, and I would be happy to share that.
Perfect, sir. Actually, I would like to bring the attention of the audience to this tagline, which I think people can see. When I wrote my first book, right at the top, because you spoke about transformation, because I do some kind of coaching, and I always tell people that I'm not a coach, I'm a student. And the day I get a feeling that I'm a coach, I'm finished as a coach. So the tagline is, if people can read, adversity is the mother of transformation. Adversity is the mother of transformation. So I think you spoke about this unit, sir, which has been almost sick and dead, you said, over the last few years. And I'm talking about some people who have lost their jobs, people who were lost in relationships, people who have gone through some of the biggest of challenges. Sir, I have seen one thing, that when it comes to people transformation, of course, we're talking about organization and organism, that is people. And I see some common patterns between people and organizations when it comes to transformation. What I've seen is that the people who have gone through some of the toughest phases in their life are the ones who are actually very ready. Mentally, they're pretty, they're looking forward to some kind of changes in their life, as compared to people who see things going well, ठीक ठाक चल रहा, things are okay. I think they are the people. I don't know whether it's about comfort zone. I mean, if it's not broken, why to fix? So what I've seen is that many people who actually have gone through something which is not likable. There are cases when people get a feeling that, don't know, why me, God? मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हुआ? I think these are the people who are actually looking for some changes. And when I start conducting some programs, when we start talking about the mindset change, changing the habits, setting goals, talking about vision, purpose, passion, and some of these things, these are the people who actually lap some of these ideas in a better, easier way. Coming to some organizational transformation, I also saw that it's not easy process to see people changing. But once it happens, sir, that thrill, that feeling of satisfaction which you get is something which is absolutely priceless. Would you like to share something about your journey of while being a part of the transformational journey of this organization, and how is the feeling so far, sir? It's very interesting.
Let me put it like this, what basically transformation means, because it's very easy to use this term, but sometimes I've seen it's extremely tough to put in action. Very tough to put in action.
Yeah.
And I have actually slightly decoded this, and a very simple formula that you are on a transformation role.
Right, sir.
If you're sitting on your chair and in the day that you spend in your work, if 90% of the things are coming to you and you are taking a call on that, it means that you are doing what is required of you to be done. So the organization is driving you. But if you are sitting on your chair and the 90% of the things are thought and then going out from you for making things done, then it means that you are working something on a transformation path line. Wow. Where you are conceptualizing, then bringing the teams together, then making the plans of action, and then taking the things forward. Wow. This is a very thin line difference between the two things. And if we are spending our time in this way, probably we are, whichever role we are actually trying to do small, big, medium transformations every day. And that's what I think, and that's what we call it as value-driven performances, where you are able to change the way things are happening, you are able to conceptualize, change, and move it forward, rather than, the organization is driving you so that everything is coming to you, things are still, you are sitting on a perch, you are doing things that is coming to you. It's very easy to do. When you join a running organization, normally we don't realize. It's very easy for us to just continue the momentum and turn it. I realized it max when I started this particular entity, which was dead completely, and we had to start working from ground zero. I remember the first day in that plant, even before I joined, I said I must go and see this plant. So when we opened the gates, there was a huge growth of forest inside, and I could find some remnants of a cement plant inside. And there were mounds and mounds of cement and concrete everywhere. And I was just wondering and shivering that, I have taken up something. I am not sure whether what happens to it from now here onwards.
Yeah.
So, but 11 months and I think this plant is up and running. It's clicking, and we have a brand in place. We have people on place. We are moving around. We are clicking. We are now a very well recognized brand in this part of the world as well. Apart from our good presence in the south and all, it gives immense amount of satisfaction that we have been able to create something where nothing existed. So that's, I think, in very brief, but then it involves a lot of things. It involves, first and foremost, the people. You have to take the people along. You talked about the people part. I think 60-70% of any leadership is about people. If we are able to manage our teams, you are able to gel the teams together, bring the warring factions together. I think this is an extremely important, and that's the principle I have learned hard way in my Tata Steel days. Just to narrate to you, I have got two principles which are always there on my table, and those are two gurus that I follow. One is, of course, my favorite JRD Tata, and there's a plaque that I have kept on my table, and there's one from my spiritual guru, Dr. Sayyidina Muhammad Burhanuddin. So the first one, the first plaque reads, and I must read it out for you, and I think it sums up the basic essence of leadership and transformation.
Right, sir.
What J.R.D. Tata says is, if I have any merit, it is in getting along with individuals according to their ways and characteristics. At times, it involves suppressing yourself. It is painful, but necessary. So to be a leader, you have got to lead human beings with affection. Absolutely. This is one essence which I have followed. And the second one, I think fundamentally is the same, is being spoken by a spiritual leader. The other one is from the business leader. But so Dr. Sayyidina Muhammad Burhanuddin says, Muhabbat makes things run.
Muhabbat makes things run.
Basically affection, whether in the family or in running a kingdom. So he says rules and regulations may be necessary to make the power of love effective, but it is still love that makes it all happen. And as far as religion is concerned, the Imam has said there is no religion but love. So I think we are spending too much of time on some funny things these days, but unfortunately, it's all about love. I've seen in organizations also, we can always say, how can you talk about, discipline, and you need to be very strict, you need to get the things done. There are leaders who are fearful leaders. But ultimately, I have seen people work not for salaries, not for, some, and most of the times I have seen people work for someone they believe in and someone that they are passionate about, and they believe that if I will work in these lines, I will be successful. And that kind of, I think belief and the faith and the love which transmits all these things can only make things happen.
I think, sir, you have said so powerful a few sentences that I just get a feeling that because I have been working on some book projects with some senior people, so I'm working with them. So the idea is to complete the book and see that the book is published in such a manner that it goes across the length and breadth of the country. And I think what you just said is something which is good enough for me to create a book, a whole book, because you said something very powerful, sir. I think the backdrop, I have just put the same profile and I put it there. So I wanted the audience to have a look at it. I think it's very, 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 very powerful. And J.R.D. Tata, I think, let me read it out once again. I think you read it out so well, sir. Let me read it out once again. If I have, and this is for the sake of audience, if I have got any merit, it is getting along with individuals, people, according to their ways and characteristics. Because I have been in the field of coaching, I came to the field of coaching, I got a feeling that I can transform the whole world. No, hold on. No, you can't transform the whole world. First, you understand what people are thinking about, because otherwise people will not even connect with you. And if they do not connect with you, forget about transformation. You can't even work with them. You can't even, they're not even going to talk to you. Forget about transformation. It's all about smaller stages. And to their ways and characteristics, at times it involves suppressing yourself. So as a coach, I have to become a student. That's the best way. It is painful at times, absolutely yes, but necessary. To be a leader, you have got to lead human beings with affection. So often I get a feeling, and often I tell people that why do we create so many triangles and quadrilaterals and circles when it comes to making a presentation, which I have seen many consultancy companies making. It's all about love and affection. Sir, I think it brings me to the field, to the talk, to the word which I think many people have been talking about, but I think many people do not get the essence of it. People call it passion, you call it love, you call it muhabbat. And sir, I've seen that anybody who has done anything great, including what you are doing, sir, I'm pretty sure that you love doing what you are doing. Otherwise, seeing this kind of career climb is something which is just impossible. So amazing, sir. It's really amazing. And hope to work with you on some of the books, sir. Because I know that Ali sir has got many books within him. So that's amazing.
No.
Coming to the second point, which you said is very powerful, because this is one of the things which I make people work on. Let me share with you, sir, my vision board in the backdrop, and then we'll share some pictures related to you. So when I worked on my vision board, purpose, and then it's all about passion. So these are the things which I love. 10x, how to see that, most of the people who come in touch with me, they start working at, if not 10x, at least 5x, at least 2x, at a higher level. How to have a mindset which will always make you, keep you on the go despite having some of the challenges. For example, when you spoke about you entering this factory, this plant, and then you see a forest-like situation inside the plant where you can get traces of this being a cement factory. And probably how to have this mindset, which I'm pretty sure, sir, of course, it's choti mo badi baat ho jayegi, sir. People, you already know what I'm going to talk about. This is for the audience. And how to have this mindset that the moment the gates are open and you see that there is something which is like a forest, you get doubly challenged. And now here is the moment for me to do something which will make it worthwhile a journey. So that's something. I think it's all about passion, sir. I don't want to spend much time here, but I think it's all about passion.
Let me just give you a correlation here,
Please,
Arun.
sir.
And this is basically, I have read a book called The Magic of Belief.
Right,
And it talks about power of visualization, positive visualization. So, I still remember the day when I was appearing for my pre-engineering test, and that it used to be a very big thing to get through in a PET, at that point of time.
right, sir.
That was 1986, 85.
Wow, wow.
And what I did is, somebody told me, why don't you go and visit the engineering college? So I said, let me go. So I went to the Raipur Engineering College. Inside, it's a beautiful, massive building, and I used to travel from outside and used to get motivated by it. But when I went inside and I walked in the corridors of that building, it gave me a very different adrenaline. I was not part of that institution at that point of time. But something in me told me that I should be doing this. And then I started visualizing myself sitting in those classrooms. And when I started visualizing that and I came back home, I was only having those kinds of, dreams sort of. While I was studying, I was having this dream and the dream got fulfilled. I walked into the same college and I became a student there. And I've seen this has consistently worked for me. Whenever you want something to happen in your life positively, we should just go in that situation, sit for some period, start visualizing in your 3D reality, and you see yourself thriving in that situation. And then your mind and your body and your soul starts working towards achieving that goal. So I think that's something which I've strongly believed, which is power of belief. And that belief comes from, actually making yourself in that situation. So this is, I think, which I have learned throughout the years, giving a lot of kick to me. The same thing happened here when I entered the plant. I could visualize the machines running, the plant, very healthy state, and I visualized a completely brand new plant.
Yeah.
And when we actually did it, I took a photograph from the same angle, and I have that photograph with me, and I'll show the two comparative photographs which are there from the same angle. So it seriously works that way.
Absolutely, sir. I think the thing is that sir, I always tell people that because as a part of coaching, visualization is a very important aspect which I make my mentees, practice along with me. I keep on telling people that the problem with the society, of course, this is a beautiful world around us, but I think this could be far more beautiful. As you spoke about some of these things which we keep on hearing. I have stopped watching television. I normally check something, but then you open it, it's full of filth and garbage, if you ask me. And these are some of the highly paid people, and what is that they're doing? I don't want to use a negative word. So absolutely right, sir. So I have seen one thing, that the challenges which we see around us in the society is because people have stopped even having faith or belief on the word faith and belief. People do not have faith on faith. And visualization is something which I think when I told some of these people that, okay, why don't you start visualizing your success? I think that's what I did, because this vision board, which you can see in the backdrop, this is something which I made in 2019, sir, almost more than 3 years. And before that, we had 2 days of visualization, finding our purpose, brainstorming, thinking about who am I, what are my strengths, what are the things which I should spend more time with, and blah, blah, blah. And then I made it. And I've seen people that still many people do, and some people do not visualize. Till I showed them a video of Virat Kohli has made it very clear. He has said it very clearly. There is a 1-minute clip in which he has said that whenever 3 to 4 months before I have to go to some other country to play, including Australians. I think people know that he has been one of the strongest Indian players when it comes to cricket against Australians. He said that 3 to 4 months before I have to actually go there and start visualizing, while running, while jogging, while perspiring, while whatever I'm doing, while eating, I'm visualizing the day when these people are going to, they are running towards me with all the, ferocity on their face. And then here am I hitting their balls across the boundary. And I keep on thinking, keep on running this thought. And this is what he has been doing. And still people do not have faith on this power of visualization. So, sir, would you like to share something for the youngsters? I think what you have shared is something which is very powerful. But would you like to share something for the benefit of youngsters and millennials? Because we all know that it's a world where people are distracted a bit. A lot of reels and this and that which is happening. Any thoughts of
to youngsters? I have the biggest issue that I have seen with our young professionals that I am actually coming across. We all get motivated by very good examples, which is very good. We get motivated by examples of 24-year-old making a unicorn and this and that. This is like 0.1100001% of the entire populace.
Right,
We
sir.
should get motivated, but unfortunately, this type of motivation also leads to wrong aspirations.
Absolutely.
And this is one message to my younger colleagues and professionals who are joining the game, that nothing worthwhile, and again, these are Jerry Tata's word, nothing worthwhile can be ever achieved without deep thought and sincere hard work.
Absolutely.
People have started looking at short success overnight.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is not possible. I have learned it again the hard way that you have to soil your hands. My first 5 years in I used to come back home every single day completely blackened by coal dust and oil and grease. Sometimes my mother and father used to ask that you're working for a cement company, you're an engineer. खल्लासी दिखता है, वापस आता है तो लगता है जैसे you're a worker there. I said this is how we need to work, because मुझे जब मौका मिलता था, अगर मुझे किल्न के अंदर घुसना है तो I used to enter inside. मुझे रॉ मिल के डब्बे के छोटे से constrained space में घुसना है तो I used to enter inside, and I used to take those opportunities. Today, if somebody asks me single nut and bolt and equipment of that plant, I have it visually registered here. And somehow destiny has brought me back to cement. And so it doesn't take me any hard work, in understanding the cement plant, basically, because most of the technology is still the same. The point remains that if we have not applied ourselves on a particular topic in a dedicated manner for a good period of time, and in my view, a good period of time is at least 4 to 5 years.
Absolutely.
And in a function, you need to spend at least 4 to 5 years to absorb, to understand, and to gauge that function so that you can have some understanding of it. Then you can build on it. Unfortunately, today, youngsters and people, 1.5 years, 1 year for them is a very big time frame. And things don't happen that way. And the other thing I always say, that probably your initial growth of first 12 to 15 years may be extremely slow. And then there is a tipping point when things just blow out of the way, and then you can go very, very fast.
Absolutely.
And this is for 99% of the professionals. There will always be 1% of the genius and 0.005% of the genius of Bhavish and this and the Olas and the Elon Musk and all, who are there in the papers. Sometimes they motivate, but more than motivate, they actually create wrong aspirations.
They demotivate also.
No, they create wrong aspirations for youngsters, Unfortunately, we cannot lead our lives with those mirage. It's a mirage. And yes, if you have in it, you click for it. Absolutely. And if you ask those guys, they have done the same thing. They have gone extremely deep into it to understand what is actually happening. And then they have been able to create those enterprises,
This is very powerful, I think, sir. So last week I was there in Delhi for some book signings. So you can see some books, and this is a team from there are a couple of people at who are towards the rear side. They are from Crossword, and there are a couple of people. There is including this guy who must be in early 20s. He's from Hansraj College, Delhi. So he was doing something there in the mall, and then he came and started talking to me. And then I could see that this guy is very good at selling and marketing. So he was actually talking about parali आजकल जलाते हैं ना, parali जलाते हैं किसान, तो उसके लिए लोगों को थोड़ा aware करना ताकि वो pollution कम हो जाए, kind of stuff which he was doing. And he was catching hold of some people, and then he started talking to people, and other people were feeling inferior. They were getting a feeling that this guy is very smart. He's from Hansraj College, and those people working in Crossword, they were getting a feeling that they are not as smart as them. They are not as smart as him. I called all the people. I told them that, see, first of all, Elon Musk, you can become bigger than Elon Musk. One condition: no, don't copy. First of all, everybody has got his unique pathways because we all are unique. Sir, बचपन से सुनते आ रहे लोग, अभी भी लोगों को पता नहीं चलता कि हर कोई यूनिक है, and you can't copy somebody. This guy is very good at marketing and sales. He can certainly become a very good leader. He can be a very good sales and marketing person. So what? You can become a very good sitar player. Nobody knows. Even you do not know. That's the thing. Maybe some of you can. You all have got something, some seed, which I think many people do not discover. Or if at all they discover after 45 years, the way it happened with me. So I think you said very, very, very correctly. I think I have seen that happening with me also. Correctly is not the word. I think all that you have said is very, very
Also,
meaningful.
I mean, Arun, one more point, and especially for the professional colleagues who are into industries and businesses. Sometimes, we tend to think that only becoming managing director of a company is the ultimate goal. And again, 0.001% of the people may succeed and go and reach that phase. But I have come across extremely competent professionals because they have been able to, work on their competencies to the fullest for 500%. And they have become the best mind in their industry. Absolutely. And I have seen these managing directors and these senior most people bowing to them for the knowledge that they possess. Absolutely. And for them, these specialists, these experts are the ultimate in their own. And sometimes these specialists actually end up making more money than those MDs, etc. So I think the path needs to be chosen. And this, again, our general trend of, IAMs and management and general managerial skills have tended to give wrong indications to people that choosing a specialist track will not help you grow. And this is very unfortunate. And this is what has happened in US, where actually people grew because of their competencies, because of the work that they do and the specialization that they possess. I think that's one very important criteria for people to understand, to choose the track and become one of the best in that track.
You're absolutely on the spot, sir. What we are saying is very important, sir. I do a program on in the morning as between 5:30 to 6:30, and I made it free for every Indian now. I think many people are joining me now. And I have made it especially free for people who are typically in corporates. There are bottom 10% of people, because for them, this is for them, once a person falls under PIP or in a bottom 10% category, probably that's the moment when this tagline, adversity is the mother of transformation, becomes very alive. And probably that is the right time when I just need to start talking to them. So I have seen one thing, sir, that like yesterday itself we were talking about the FANG companies, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, and I said, why is it so that not a single company is from any country other than America? यार हम लोग क्या बात करते हैं? हम अपना देश महान है, हम भारतवासी सबसे बड़े, रोड में चल नहीं सकते हैं, डिसिप्लिन नाम की चीज नहीं है. You look at people driving the way they are driving in Delhi and Jaipur and Pune and all these places, and then we say that we are so great. No, I think when it comes to innovation, when it comes to working in the field which belongs to us, I think we are very poor, sir. I think it's all right. चल रहा है, it's a mass production factory. And I think we are talking about the darkness which we see while watching TV news. It's not only limited there, it's there in IIMs, XLRIs, and some of these colleges. And that's the reason which I got into this field, because I saw there is a huge thing which is waiting for us to, kind of tap and do something about it. And then I spoke with these people, and then they started realizing, yeah, I think it's important for them to spend some time while knowing who exactly they are. So that's the reason. So when I get into coaching program, the first thing which people do is to make their vision board, which includes their vision, their purpose, their strength, their core values, their goals. मैं हूँ क्या? Sir, बचपन से हम सुनते हैं ना, the journey within is the most important journey, and many people do not know. Sir, आपने कहा मोहब्बत, अरे किस चीज से मोहब्बत है, पता तो करो. यहाँ तो भाई मेरे पिताजी को इंजीनियर बनना था, तो नहीं अरुण तुम भी इंजीनियर बन जाए. इंजीनियर बनकर अरुण ने कुछ काम करना शुरू कर दिया. एंड देन मोहब्बत को किनारे छोड़, नून तेल लकड़ी का उसका अरेंज कर, एंड देन यू रिटायर, सर, एट द एज ऑफ 16. दैट्स व्हाट आई हैव सीन हैपनिंग विद सो मेनी पीपल. I'm pretty sure, sir, I think you have been working with thousands of people, sir. You are in a very senior position. You must have seen, if you just look at every individual out of thousands of people working in this company, I'm pretty sure that each person has got a possibility to become somebody close to Elon Musk. I know it's a very serious, strong statement, but so that's what I've seen happening. The challenge here is that either people are not ready to find their muhabbat because it's going to take them on a different path, or else if some people find their muhabbat, especially in India, I've seen, they get so much resistance, which for the see, they do not get a feeling that the person who has become big in corporate is the person who has got muhabbat for being in corporate.
Exactly.
Working with people, for being in the leadership role. And as you rightly said, there are people who are so good in playing sitar कि उसी में पूरा corporate में जाके एक दिन का एक घंटे एक दिन का लाख कमाते हैं. I've seen some of these people. But sir, नकलची बंदर sir वो. I should not use that word, but वो पता नहीं है stories है जो पंचतंत्र की कहानी है. There's so many stories that we all know. Why are we? I think we have stopped learning.
In my Tata Steel days and even here in cement industry, the most respected people are not the managers or the executive directors or the managing directors of the companies. Right, the most respected people are the technologists. I still remember, and I remember those people by name. We used to see them with awe. These were the people who would stand in front of a blast furnace and looking at the blast furnace, its sound, its condition, its parameters. They will be able to exactly tell that how long this can go on, or when do we need to take a shutdown, what is the state of the furnace, etc., etc. And the same is happening in the kiln of the cement plant, or what kind of clinker. They'll pick up a ball of clinker and they will exactly tell you whether this is a good quality, this is a C3S content, and how much is that, or what. So ultimately, somehow, as a country, because we are missing on the specializations, it is also leading us to a very generalized management or task force. Absolutely, and that's not good for the company and the country.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is not good for the country. That's not good for the company. That's not good for the individual, because I've seen people suffering and struggling throughout their life, and then they retire, and then they get a feeling, chalo zindagi ho gayi, and then they do not, they know that there is something within them which keeps them knocking through memories. For example, I always give this example that suppose there are two people driving in the same car. One person is a musician and second person is a sports person. The sports person is going to, if I take the example of Pune, the sports person is going to catch hold of all the hoardings which are talking about the T20 or something related to sports, and the musician is going to catch hold of some of the hoardings which are talking about the upcoming music. So I think the universe, we call it destiny, we call it whatever, the world or God or whatever. I think there are ways through which the destiny keeps on reminding people, but sir, हम लोग आंखें बंद करके चलते जाते हैं sir. जिंदगी में चल छोड़ यार, नमक तेल लकड़ी करने दे और फिर जिंदगी चली जाती है. I think, sir, there is a huge, I see, explosion of potential and talent which is there. That's the reason I talk about 10x potential, because the first thing is that first your micro niche बोलते लोग, लेकिन माइक्रो निश कोई कोच करता नहीं सर. माइक्रो निश कराने के लिए 1 लाख रुपए चार्ज करेगा, कुछ होता नहीं, फिर वो भूल जाता है उसको. बिकॉज कोच इज लाइक गुरु शिष्य परंपरा, इज लाइक शागिर्द और उस्ताद का जो परंपरा, उसको लोग भूल चुके हैं सर. I think as you rightly said, sir, absolutely.
And I must share this experience with you, Arun, because I've been fortunate to get some of the best, I would say, trainings and also a coaching. I had a coach, and I strongly remember him, and I admire him. He was a South African coach living in Italy, and Dr. Wendell Peterson, and he spent about 6 months with me. This was in my Emirates days, and I realized, how many blind spots and how many faults I was carrying in my personality, which despite all the normal trainings, I could never, come across. And the methodology of this coach used to be so wonderful. He was just with me. He was traveling with me. He used to join me in my meetings. He used to join me in my discussions. He used to observe me while interacting with my teams. And then he will not advise me. He will just sit with me and discuss with me what went good and what went bad.
Absolutely.
It was I myself who would come out with, all the lacunas, because the way he used to ask those questions and the way he used to lead me to those learnings were massive. Initially, I used to think that he will come to me and, he'll give me some gyan that you should do it this way or you should do it that way. This is the management construct and this is not. But he was a wonderful psychiatrist. The way he used to handle it, the kind of realizations that I had, and I tell you, I had only 4 or 5 learnings in these entire interactions. Right. But those 4 or 5 learnings have actually transformed me as a person inside, as a manager, and as an overall leader. I think
absolutely
it has been a tremendous learning experience. So a good coach and a mentor can dramatically change your way of thinking.
Absolutely, sir. Actually, that's the reason I've been talking to some corporates. I've been asking some people, requesting some people that you give me your 10 so-called worst performers and give me 30 days time. Because I have started getting a hang of how exactly people change. And I was absolutely in complete darkness till a few years ago. You spoke about 3 to 4 years, sir. Absolutely right. 4 saal to lagega. Sir, when I made my first video, that was in 2019, 2018, 4 years ago. And then finally, one video became viral, and then 5 million people are going to watch this video. So it takes 4 years. जब मैंने पहले किताब लिखी 4 साल पहले, you also must be wondering क्या किताब है, and then you, despite that, you said a very nice advanced praise. And today, when I went to Delhi, sir, last week I was there. I went to 10 places. Basantpur, हर जगह मेरी books are, my books are there. It takes 4 years, sir. Problem ये है कि आज की दुनिया में चाहिए instant 2 मिनट का नूडल चाहिए, एक साल में promotion चाहिए. I've seen, I think, nothing wrong with being ambitious, but then as we discussed, people can't be copycats. They can't copy. They have to first know. और सर अपने आप को जानने की जर्नी मैंने देखा है सर. It takes some time, and that's the reason I've seen that. And unless we realize some of the transformations which Arun is supposed to make within him, nothing is going to change. And I have seen many corporates, many MBA colleges, some of the best known colleges, still we are चलिए जिसको हम लोगों ने ज्ञान का नाम दे दिया है. और भाई एक ज्ञान में जिंदगी बदलने का पूरा सारांश, आपने मोहब्बत की बात की जो एक लाइन, उसमें पूरी जिंदगी बदलने का है. कि people get that connotation of मोहब्बत and passion, and then they go to somebody who can actually make them take the journey with it. I think, sir, if you look at the world from my eyes, through my eyes, that's the reason I could write all these books in 1 year, and currently I'm writing. Everything which we see around has got a message to completely transform the world. I think you spoke about something very interesting. You spoke about destiny, sir. आपने destiny का नाम लिया था, and I have got a feeling that destiny chooses people for doing something special. I'm pretty sure that it was destiny which chose you to transform this organization. So let's talk about you. What do you think would be some of the qualities within you, because of which the destiny or the board or some company which chose you to take this very challenging task?
I think, I've always tried to reflect on myself and, what clicks for me, what doesn't click for me. And I have realized that for me, it's all about people. So when I do an introspection within myself, what is my core strength? What is my biggest strength? I have realized that, I have this ability of bringing people together.
Right, sir.
Ability to be able to leverage maximum out of them, right, and sir, the best out of them. And the ability to connect and keep long-term bonds. I am very fortunate that people with whom I worked 30 years back in cement or in steel or in Tata Blue Scope or in Emirates, I think whenever I meet them, the kind of warmth and the love and affection that they reflect with me is actually the biggest earning that I have gained. And even today, when I got calls from them, or I talk like you, when we interact, it gives me tremendous amount of kick inside that we have generated enough assets, and these are the people assets or the bonds that we have created. So I think one part which I have always felt, which has helped me to be successful, is this part. The second part has been the visualization, the ability to visualize and carry forward the action to the nut and bolts level. You have to have this large vision, but also the ability to convert that vision into a very clear action.
Right, sir.
Otherwise, as we have said,
absolutely,
vision without action is just a dream, and action without dream is without just passing the time. Absolutely. Vision with action changes the world, and I think this is something which I have learned a long time back. The third thing that I really owe myself to some of the best programs and the learnings and the exposures that I got in my initial years, especially in Tata Steel with some of the very big leaders. Dr. Irani just passed away. I think I still remember one line that he used to make when we were doing this performance ethic program and this transformation program in Tata Steel. He said, when the patient is healthy, when you are healthy, when you are light, that is the best time that you should do your exercise, absolutely, your regimen and everything. When you are on the bed, then it is only a time for surgery. So he said we have to just do surgery. And he was such a futuristic and visionary person, it was I still give a lot of credit to him that he could undertake the kind of program, that performance ethic program. He faced a lot of flack from many for doing what he did in Tata Steel, because that was a transformation program on people front. We had to do, a massive exercise of complete organizational restructuring, assessments, putting people, bringing the lowermost people to the top, taking some very bold decision for the organization. If you were there, you would remember, how much of pain the organization passed through.
Yeah.
And I think, but that was essential for the company for that point of time. So the ability of that leader to know exactly when do we need to do a surgery and when actually just the normal health regimen is good enough. So I always give credit to myself for having this ability to understand these nivettes of the organization. Otherwise, it is completely, you can be in any business and you can still carry out some of these, founding principles and take the things forward.
Very powerful, sir. Very powerful thing. Actually, each word which you are saying is giving me a very interesting connection. Actually, sir, I started a program from 1st of August, which I prefer calling as 10x Success and Joy through the power of MMRG. For Lamba Nama, but MMRG stands for Magical Morning Rituals for Greatness. And it's all about doing things proactively, how to do something. So the visualization is one of the things. Affirmations, visualization, writing about our goals, thinking about our planning for the day. There's something called YTT, yesterday, today, tomorrow. So thinking about yesterday, closing your eyes, and then maybe for a couple of minutes, let's think about something important which we did yesterday. Important means going for a jog despite the fact that you are keeping healthy. That's something which many people do not do, sir. Unless there is a pain in somewhere, they will not start going for a walk and they will not think of doing something proactively. And that's another irony. Darkness, sir. This is there with 95% of the world, sir. And that's something which gives me a very, I think, big hope that there is a lot which we can do. But we also know that to awaken people so that they start going for a jog, as Dr. Irani said, when things are all going well, is something which is going to be very difficult. And that's the reason, sir, this performance ethics program come as in the shape or in the form of pain. People say, but these are important, because otherwise the people who went down, they would have taken some action long before, but they were just waiting for something to happen. That is what brings me to the tagline. Adversity is the mother of transformation, because otherwise people will not think of making a change, sir. So I wanted to share with you some picture, very interesting. I saw some very inspiring pictures while looking at your Facebook and LinkedIn profile. So Dalmia Cement, I like this thing. Future today. Would you like to share something about so that our audience knows about it, sir? Future today is very interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. This is one of our demos there.
Yeah.
So no, it's about basically, that we are trying to create the buildings that are going to create the future of India today. Everything that we do in cement and to do with the cement technologies, we are today trying to create the future of India, and that's something which is holistic and enclosed in this tagline, and it also ties up with the modern technologies which we are undertaking to make the cement of today, and also to do with the green technologies. I think if you see and study our records, Dalmia Cement today is globally the least carbon producing. Our carbon footprint is 467 kg per ton of cement, which is the lowest globally. It's about 650 and above for most of the cement companies. And this has happened because of our enormous focus on green technologies, usage of alternate fuels, replacement of fossil fuels with alternative fuels, and the solar. We are the company which is now having about 150 megawatt of solar power. Almost 20% of our power is solar power. Right, so wherever we are putting our footprint, we are investing huge amount of monies on green technologies. We're trying to bring, the future of manufacturing today. We have resolved that by 2040 we should be zero carbon company, which is an extremely tough task for the most polluting industry in the world. Cement and steel are the two most polluting. 5% of the global greenhouse gases are generated by cement industry. So it's a tough task, but I think our CEO and MD also were in the COP26 last time in Edinburgh and all. He was the only person representing India along with the Prime Minister. I think that was a matter of huge respect for us. Mr. Singhi was there, and we signed the global deal on this front.
I'm pretty sure, sir. I'm pretty sure that with you being there in the, along with the team in the driving seat, I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. I'm sure that this is going to inspire many people, many companies, because as you mentioned that it's already in the lowest league as compared to many other companies when it comes to carbon footprint reduction.
Yeah.
I also saw a couple of more pictures, sir. This is something which happened in Delhi. I saw your picture with some people. Would you like to share something?
Oh yes, this was very passionate moment for me, because
Yeah.
I met these two great gentlemen. So this was part of the 75th anniversary of India, where we were doing these festivities, and we had Dalmia Cement has taken the maintenance of the Red Fort, and we have actually completely curated one very old building there and made it into a very modern museum. And we have launched a lot of things there. And these two gentlemen, one is the grandson of Sardar Bhagat Singh, and the other one is the grandson of Ashfaqullah Khan.
Oh,
the two gentlemen who went to the bellows, and it really gave me goosebumps to stand with them and get this picture done, because the kind of legacy that we have, the work that our ancestors have done to bring the country to this level is something. And that's what Dalmia Cement is very passionate about, this positive naturalism which has created the bonds that we are into, I think. So this was something which was a very big moment for me.
I'm so happy
On the
that
right is the grandson of Mr. Ashfaqullah Khan. On the left is grandson of Shaheed Bhagat Singh.
Wow, I'm so happy that I brought this picture, because I couldn't see the connection. I'm pretty sure audience is going to be very inspired to see this. Sir, I know that we spoke a lot about, not a lot, I think this is just the beginning. Of course, I have to keep stock of time. So it's getting close to 1 hour, and I think we didn't even realize that it's getting close to 1 hour. Sir, let me share with you one more picture, I think with the audience rather. I also saw that despite a busy schedule, you get some time for pursuing some of the passions. And there is a picture with a couple of tigers, I think in Tadoba. So let's end this conversation with, I think I'm pretty sure that we are going to have another series of conversation.
We shall my best learnings, in life has come with observing this majestic animal, tiger. Right, and I have gained so much of insight, and I always share this with my people. The best part of Nagpur is that you are close to this is called Tiger Capital of India. So we have got 4 or 5 tiger sanctuaries. This is my best de-stressing mechanism also. Whenever I am totally jammed in my mind, I take off myself and I spend 24 hours in a beautiful forest, in a good resort, and doing the safari rides. Wow. And the pleasure of waiting for a tiger to appear is one of the most beautiful experiences that I have ever experienced. Every time, and somehow people tell me that if you have to watch a tiger, you should be in Mr. Ali's Gypsy. Somehow they make it, because I am fortunate that 8 out of 10 my rides I have been able to, and I was lucky to see the tiger. The way it hunts, the way it walks, the way it sleeps, the way it waits for its prey to come up. I have seen all these moments. In one of the moments, it was so beautiful. It was hunting a herd of bison. Bison is at least 5 times the tiger size.
Yeah,
it's very, very bold and brave of tiger to do that. But then I saw this altercation. This the group of bisons, and the biggest of the bison then stood the front. It didn't go back. It didn't go back till all its family members ran away, and he stood in front of the tiger just in an attacking mode. And but to reach this time, tiger had taken 35-40 minutes. He walked only 15 meters in 40 minutes. It just marked its time and its action time so that it appears at the right time to pounce. But unfortunately, that was the time when he could not. And the other learning is, in 20 or 15 attacks that it makes, maybe 13 or 12 attacks actually goes bad. But it is only 1 or 2 in which he is able to hunt and then survive for a longer duration. The worst part of the story is that if he is not able to make it in those 15 or 14 attempts, then his energy keeps going down, and then he's not able to hunt anymore. So this is the beauty of a tiger, as it grows and becomes. And the other part is the territory marking, the way it marks the territory, and it gives indication to others that this is my territory, and please don't come near, and it ensures it leaves its scent, it leaves its height, it leaves its might, that any other tiger who tends to enter will know what is my size and weight, so that I will not go and barge in this area. I mean, some of these learnings are extremely, and it comes from the jungle, the best management learnings actually sometimes comes from the jungle, how to.
Actually,
how
sir,
to
it
work.
always, absolutely, it always, I have always been telling people that the best of classrooms do not have any walls or windows, because I actually have conducted some programs while taking people to a garden area, to a forest area. And I see those are the places where we get the best of lessons, sir. The way you illustrated this entire set of learnings is something which is absolutely awesome. So to the audience, gentlemen, one has to learn the science and art of waiting for 3 to 4 years before you pounce. That's first thing. You should not think of jumping on the first week for getting something. So I think patience is very important. सर बचपन से सब सुनते हैं सब कुछ सर कबीर जी रहीम खान खाना सब बोल कर थक गए सब लिखा हुआ है सर कि धीरज रहीमन सींचे 100 घड़ा ऋतु आए फल हो but people are not getting the messages. Another thing, audience, I've seen many people going to safaris, but all that they are doing is to just click and take a selfie. Here is Ali sir. It is very obvious that he goes deeper into things. It's not only about forest, because I think the way you explained, sir, it is very obvious that you have been there many times and you have spent time while watching for 40 minutes, whereas people can't even watch for more than 1 minute. If they can't see any action, they will move on. And that is another darkness which has enveloped the world. Thank you so much, sir. I think I just feel like going on because there are so many things which I want to discuss, but I'm pretty sure that, sir, you will give me another opportunity to talk to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Arun. It was an exciting experience for me as well.
Thank you.
When you go through the memory lane, it always helps you to rejuvenate yourself.
So thank you so
very much. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much, sir. Have a great, amazing weekend, and thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Arun, and all the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.